This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Thursday? Almost the last day of the month, right here, January 30th. It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You are checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel or listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate everybody who subscribed, rated, and reviewed the show in the last month. It has been our most organic month since we started this podcast. So I appreciate everybody. Seriously, on my hands and knees. Thank you for jumping in and joining us. Gonna have a lot of fun today, but before the fun commences, I feel like we probably need to start right here. This is not a political show at all, and that's not why you listen to this show. But I'm really kind of upset over the tragedy that happened last night. A plane crash out of Washington D.C. Plane in a helicopter. Lots of people passed away. Really horrible. Really horrible. So that's where I just want to start praying for those people, praying for the families. You saw videos of families waiting on their families to their family members to land. And look, I don't care to make it political, but just we can all agree that it's very sad and it's very tragic. And so we can pray for them. And that's where I want to get that out of the way first, because that's kind of, obviously the Alabama basketball game was our focus last night, but as the game was going into the second half, that happened. And I had a hard time focusing on the second half. So we will turn our attention to Alabama basketball, as that will be our distraction, our positive distraction for the day. And we'll do that with our friend Mason Woods. You can follow him at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. As Mason Woods told me yesterday, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be close. They're going to battle us. And I said, no, Alabama's going to respond. But Mason was correct. He nailed the point spread. Not quite the right numbers, but very much in the ballpark. Nailed the point spread, a 4-point game. Alabama beating Mississippi State 88-84. Mason Woods, good morning. How are we?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it was a nail biter last night. I was watching it with holding my breath basically the entire time, because it just felt like, oh, this is happening. It's happening. Okay, here we go. You know, managed to squeak it out there at the end. So, you know, you got to give them credit where credit's due. But man, long night at the hump.
Long night. Oh, yeah. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with how physical the game was? The officiating? Do we think the officiating was good or bad? Do we want to start with Mark Sears' performance review, bounce back review? Nearly a quadruple double if you look at the turnovers too. So Mark, was it really that great? It was. We won the game. You got 17 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 7 turnovers. Tells me maybe Mr. Mark Sears was pressing just a little bit.
That's what I was thinking a little bit.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We'll start there. Mark Sears, overall, I thought it was a fine performance. You mentioned he did, 6 points, 9 assists, and, he does have the 7 turnovers, unfortunately, but
17 points.
17 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. So, almost gets kind of in that triple double range, but the 7 turnovers were unfortunate. But like you said, I think it was a little bit of maybe him trying to force it. Obviously, he knew just as much as everyone else does, he needed a bounce back performance in this game. I'm sure he heard and, saw all of the tweets and things at him talking about the situation. So he wanted to go out and shut some people up and, maybe forced it a little bit last night. Overall, I don't think the team only had 14 turnovers in total. So, I don't think it was a horrible thing. Definitely need to clean that up a bit, but overall, I think it was a good bounce back performance.
Good bounce back performance indeed. Anytime you can win on the road, we need to really make that our grounding point for the conversation. If you can win on the road in this league, that's a good win no matter what. I found myself extremely frustrated through the game, extremely frustrated with defensive coverages, with rebounding, with defending in the paint.
There were so many times throughout this game where it felt like they just made the most boneheaded switch on defense and put someone completely out of position to defend the ball going inside, whether it was Cliff, whether it was, I think I saw Mark at one point getting matched up against a big. It was just like, what are we doing now? It's like, it looked very discombobulated out there on the defensive end at many, many points throughout the game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just look at the numbers here because I've got the game on my second screen. But the numbers here, home stats, what did they guess? Mississippi State's points per possession for the whole game, because both halves are pretty much the same. The second half, oh my gosh, their second half was incredible. The first half, okay, use the context. Their first half was 1.182, and the second half was better. So on the game,
1.3,
1.235.
That's not good. That's pretty bad.
It's just so again, go back to the grounding. Winning on the road. You won on the road. You stayed basically holding serve in the SEC standings.
48% from three really helped you out last night.
Yeah, massive. Let's stick with the physicality first before we go to the Chris Youngblood stuff. And was I just wrong about what Cliff Morey was going to be? And that's fine. Like, I'll accept that. But I just was like, I thought much more Bediako type. We're going to be he's not very. He's a little more lumbering than he's a little more lumbering than I thought going into the year. And obviously, we're how many games in now? So obviously, we know who he is. But I just defensively, either it's a confusion issue and he's not confident in his positioning, or what. I just am not feeling like we're getting enough out of Cliff Morey, and therefore you are throwing Grant Nelson, Jaron Stevenson. You're throwing these guys. I mean, he threw Sherelle out there quick last night. I mean, it was not. When did Sherelle first get subbed in? Let's see.
Early.
He got subbed in right there at 16-16. That's the first bleeping timeout. Like, because we're searching for answers. And I don't know if it's a confusion issue, if it's a physicality issue, if it's just this is who you are, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say it. Obviously he has dealt with. I think he had that little ankle thing against Vanderbilt not too long ago. So, but then again, this has been the play the whole year. It's not like it's a new thing with Cliff. We've kind of seen him be just a step behind the entire season. When he's on, he's great. When he is in position, he's a fantastic defender down there. It's just you only get that like maybe 70% of the time. It just seems like he lacks the athleticism that Alabama kind of requires at that 5 spot. He's not able to move as quickly as they need him to. He's not able to rotate like they need him to when people are switching. He's always a step behind, and I guess that's just how it's going to be. I imagine that's why Sherelle got thrown out there as early as he did, because it seems like they're going to maybe need him a little more than they thought they did going into this season. By the time March comes around.
Well, you're going to need him. That's why you went and got him. I think it's a confusion issue. I don't think it's a ability. I don't think it's an athleticism and ability. I think it's a confusion issue, putting him in awkward positions, which makes me think, oh, he didn't block that guy out. Can he not block that guy out? Or was he not in the right position? You talked about defensive switches and how many times it seemed like, golly, leave an open guy. So Alabama's been defending the pick and roll this year in drop coverage pretty much pretty regularly, right? And so if you don't know what that means, like the basics, here's 101. Pick comes, ball goes around the pick, and what happens is, if it's not a very great shooter, the guard goes under the screen, and basically the big doesn't trap the ball screen, doesn't come up and doesn't switch, he just drops. He drops and basically sees what's going to happen. Let's wait to see if the roll is going to happen. Let's wait to see what we can guard. All right, so that's what we've been doing most of the year. I think a handful of times last night, they're like, this bleep ain't working.
Yeah.
And so when we change it,
everybody gets a little confused.
Yes. And so it's like,
especially someone like Cliff, who new to the group, and I understand we're halfway through the season at this point, but still, he's kind of the new guy around. He's only been there for this off season and up to now, so maybe still learning a bit. Yeah, I could see that.
So he calls different coverages a couple different times, and you get busted with a lot of open people left and right because you don't know your rotations very well. Ah, man. It makes me think, this 20-hour rule. Coach Oates this year has a couple of different times after an issue, turnover issue, defensive issue, rebounding issue, after an issue has occurred, has come back into the press conference and said, "Oh, we've been working on other things." Paraphrase. We haven't worked on that in a while. We haven't looked at that as closely in a while. We're going to look at that this week. Mm-hmm. And obviously they go practice it, and the turnovers cut down, and the rebounding goes up.
We've seen it 4 or 5 times this year.
Right. It just makes me wonder if this 20 hours a week that they're getting to practice is it not enough to learn it all? Is it not enough to gel together? I don't know. Is it just too complicated on the defensive side? Or are we just too focused on run and gun on the offensive side? Is it a time? I have no idea because I am not in practice, and I'm not going to sit here and act like an expert. But it just makes me wonder what the time allocation is over the course of the week. And so, we're mixing a new defense. Oh, we're not quite ready for it because we haven't ripped it 1.5 million times, and you have issues like last night.
It's hard to kind of, I guess, speculate on what practice looks like because, like you said, we're not there. We don't know how they allocate the time that they have allotted to them. But certainly seems that there was just something wrong. You very obviously switched your approach defensively last night at a few points throughout the game, and it caused some confusion from 1 to 5. I think it, allowed a lot of easy buckets from Mississippi State, allowed them to hang in this game when, in reality, they probably shouldn't have been. It should not have been this close. It was just I don't know, weird time to maybe try to switch it up, I guess. But you got to do what you
always have to keep wrinkles in, and you're always developing wrinkles. Like, shoot, the defense hadn't been good. We got to keep. Yeah. We got to look for things. Just all I had to say, I've been a little disappointed with Cliff, and I don't like to say that because I'm rosy-colored glasses for all of them. But I have been just a little bit disappointed in what we've got out of Cliff because I thought, we're gonna get a shot blocking monster who's going to be rebounding the heck out of the ball. Like, maybe it was just Chuck being in the system for 2 years. For 2 years, and by the end of that second year, I mean, he was a monster. He was a machine down there. And maybe it's just a time issue. Like, golly, I'm watching it right there, and bam, Josh Hubbard gets around the screen. This is ridiculous. Josh Hubbard, you got screen, drop coverage, beat, switch, right to the hole. Like,
there's a lot of times he did that. I mean, he got 38 points for a reason. They were letting him get to the bucket pretty easy.
What do you think about his performance? I mean, Coach, we're anti-tampering on this show, always anti-tampering. But if we're gonna tamper, if we're gonna tamper with somebody next year, how about a Josh Hubbard, Mark Sears replacement?
Sure, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, 38 points, obviously very impressive because I think they said it was a career high for him, a new career high. I mentioned before we started recording, it did take him 28 shots to get there. But that being said, I mean, he was 50% from the floor. So, I mean, if you're shooting 50%, shoot as much as you damn want.
Keep going.
Shoot 60 shots. I don't care.
6 of 15 from behind. 6 3-point shots that Joker made.
Yeah, if you're shooting that well, it is okay to shoot at that high of a volume. He even though he put up 28 shots, he got those 38 points relatively efficiently.
Efficiently as far as shot making, but we have complained about the defense, but they forced his butt into a lot of tough shots. They forced him into a 6 of 15.
He was making some tough shots.
He did get to the rim pretty decently, but it's a lot of fadeaways, a lot of fallaways, a lot of there's no what. It was some. Coach Oates said it after the game. He said, if you like elite shot making, this was the game for you. It's like, you're right.
Yeah.
Because Josh Hubbard and Chris Youngblood said, I see you, buddy. I'm going again. Next, your turn. My turn. Your turn. My turn.
There was a stretch where I think they just on 6 or 8 possessions in a row, they just went back to back to back to back to back. It was crazy. Josh Hubbard either hit a 3 or got to the back, bucket, and then go down, quick hitter to Chris Youngblood, bang. It was wild.
Okay. We'll keep it going. Just keep up on the Josh Hubbard.
Yeah. Bring him home. Come on to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
if you
that'd be
want to.
great. An hour to about 2 hour drive. You got it. Hour 45. You know we got better NIL here than that. Anyways, you slow him down a little. No, LeBaron was on him. You didn't see a whole lot of Darian Reed on him, because Darian Reed, to me, looked like a guy last night who I've been injured and I've been playing limited minutes in practice. Not to disparage the guy,
No,
but he looked like a guy who, I've missed the last couple games due to a nagging injury. And yeah, he definitely looked like he was giving his effort, but it just looked like a step slow here.
Yeah, had to clear out the cobwebs a little bit. Had to work it out some.
So what happens is Mo D says, "Coach, I think I can guard Josh Hubbard."
God love you, Mo D.
I wish I could embody that. Dear Lord, help me to have the Mohamed Diabate attitude where I can do anything. I can go get anything. I can, just call chat.
LeBron's
Here I am
over there. I got him, Coach.
Here I am, Lord, send me. Here I am, Lord, send me. That's him. That's Mohamed Diabate. Who shall I send? Who will I go? Here I am, Lord, send me. Is Mo D.
The fiercest competitor on this team. And that's not to disparage any of the other ones. It's just Mo D is that level.
Does his fire burn hotter than Herb Jones's? Because golly, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we have been seeing the comparisons get made on social media for the last few weeks, especially as Mo D has been given the green light from Nate Oates to go and make his own shots, apparently. Last night he didn't score a ton, but, he's had impressive scoring outputs the last few games.
My favorite Mo D stat from last night is 7 offensive rebounds. We're going to get how many offensive boards on the night? 17, and he's going to get 7 of them. 7 of them turning into 14. His 17 offensive rebounds turning into 14 second chance points. I think that, golly, he is just.
Yeah, you could ask any coach in the country if they want a Mo D, and they will tell you 1,000 times, yes, you got to have a Mo D on your team. He's your favorite player's favorite player. Like he just does everything the right way. It doesn't matter how big the player he's going against is, he's going to find a way to get a rebound. Doesn't matter how quick the guard that he's guarding is, he's going to find a way to shut him down. Mo D, I mentioned it to you before the show that you get the John Rothstein tweet, Mohamed Diabate, glue guy, and even that sells him short. He is, he's more than just that. Like he is so important to this team, the heart and soul of the Crimson Tide this year.
Glue guy sounds.
It sounds a little disrespectful.
Yes, glue guy sounds like what I did on the pickup basketball court where I was the dribbler and passer.
Glue guy is just like the funny dude that sits on the bench, makes everybody laugh every now and then.
Sure, I'll defend whoever, but like nobody's counting on me for anything. I wonder what Mohamed Diabate does for the other 9 players on the floor when you're on the floor, as far as just simple comfort, just simple. Oh, I know that mother is going to go after, and I can just play my game. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm going to go after the ball too, and this, that, and the other. But I just know if opponent X hits me in the face or bumps me. We haven't seen Mo D as the fighter,
no,
but I do think that he's got that. Like, if it came to that, I think that he would be
gentle giant. He's like he's the. I like to think that.
I think he's just ready.
Yes, throughout the day, he just is constantly locked in. It's just like, hey Mo, you want to go? And he's just sitting here. He's watching film or something. He's praying, getting ready for tonight's game. Like he is always locked in. And then you get out on the court and it's just perfection almost every time. He is watching him play his art.
If not perfection, just unbridled energy that is so much just the embodiment of blue collar.
Yeah.
Mo Diabate never graduate, please. You can just keep taking classes and failing and re-enrolling or whatever. NCAA.
How do we make it happen?
We will petition for extra eligibility for you, Mo Diabate. Mm-hmm. So it was. I'm frustrated with the night.
Sure.
but it was a good night. I mean, you won. Again, go back to the grounding of this conversation. You won on the road.
Yep. At the end of the season, nobody remembers how you won. They just remember that you did win.
One on the road. Where are we at in the conference standings? 7-1. Solo second place. A half game behind the Auburn Tigers.
Looked like they had a little bit of a close one for a minute last night.
Denied Broom after the game, dancing with the LSU cheerleaders, Oh, yeah. Okay, before we close down the game, we need to talk about Chris Youngblood. Chris Youngblood was that his highest output in an Alabama uniform? Let me pull his game logs. I think it was. I just don't want to say that without double checking. Chris Youngblood game logs stats. Your game logs, your college game log for this year, buddy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love Sports Reference, but sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. There we go. Right there. Sports Reference has him. Your game logs, points. Oh yeah, by far. He scored 14 against Texas A&M. He scored 13 against LSU. That was last game. But baby, he goes 23 last night. Biggest output of the night of the season for Chris Youngblood was how many 3-point shots did that joker make? 7 of 10. Woo!
You want to look at the reason why they won this game, why they pulled this win out?
7 of 10.
7 of 10 from the 3-point line for Chris Youngblood is why they won this game. The defense did not put up a winning performance. Chris Youngblood on the offensive end put up a winning performance.
Do you remember his first game that he played? And I text you, man,
yes.
He is warming up, and he is so hot. He is on fire. I can't believe this.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to shoot 1,000,000 threes. And we're both like, oh, we can't wait. Well, I go over into the media section because I was on the floor watching warm-ups because I just wanted to, during warm-ups, it's whatever, pretty low key. And so I just walk down there and just watch. And I'm just like, wow. So I go back into the media section, and this person will be unnamed. Hey, Chris Youngblood, he was really making them in warm-ups. Oh, okay, let's see. We'll see what happens. Then he goes through that first game. He was 1 of 5. And he's 2 of 4. He's 2 of 9. He's 1 of 6. He's 1 of 5. He's 1 of 3 all through his first couple games. And in each of these performances, this person, he's shooting too much. Mm-hmm. He's just, anytime he gets the ball, he's shooting too much. And I think he's going to start making them. I think he's going to just give him some time. And this person, he just needs to stop shooting. He just needs to quit taking those shots. Mm-hmm. I said, his trigger is so fast. I think that he just needs to take 1,000,000 of them until he starts making them. He shot 40% last year for the entire year for South Florida. And so this is not a vindication because obviously we've got another third of the season left to go. But I think he's going to start making them.
Certainly seems that way. He has turned it on with the last 3, 4, 5 games, really, maybe 3 games. He's been over 50%, I think, in at least 2 of them.
Yeah, so at A&M, he's 50%, 3 of 6. He's 2 of 8. This is behind the arc. 2 of 8 against Ole Miss, not good. 2 of 3 against Kentucky. Yep. 2 of 6 against Vanderbilt. 1 of 5 against LSU, and then 7 of 10.
Picking it up though. I have been very impressed with, like you said, he just shoots so fast.
3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 17 of your last 14, 17, 23, and 28. What did I say? 17 of 28? Mm-hmm.
That is priceless to this team. Like, you cannot put a monetary value on that. Like, that is so incredibly valuable to this team and what it allows them to do offensively when you have that kick out option that you feel pretty good. Hey, this guy's going to make it if I kick it out to him.
60% since the Texas A&M game. Now, obviously, your 70% last night jumps you up a bit, but it's a performance you have to count into the stats. Like, it's a number.
Yeah. We talked about the John Rothstein tweet earlier.
Go there.
This same
perfect way to go.
Same tweet. Chris
you missed it twice, John Rothstein.
John, 0 for 2 on this. Chris Youngblood equals the replacement for Latrell Wrightsell. He was never that. That's never what his role was going to be. He was always going to be a premier player on this team. He was going to be a huge part of what they wanted to do offensively. You said he shot 40% from 3 last year at South Florida. You think that he was just going to rot on the bench until maybe he gets a chance this year with Latrell Wright? No, that's insane. He was always going to be more than the replacement for Latrell Wrightsell. Ridiculous, John.
We're still missing Latrell.
Yes.
That's his tweet make it sound like, oh, we're missing. No, he's still missing Latrell. Period. And
but if you don't think that we're,
you
were Chris Youngblood, Latrell Wright, and Chris Youngblood was coming for those minutes.
Yeah, well, yes. All you had to do, he was a perfect fit for the system.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm happy to have him, but really, he plays what last night? How many minutes he got? 30 minutes. 30 minutes last night. If Latrell's still there, you're still playing Chris Youngblood a lot. You're playing Latrell more. Who's he eating minutes into? He's eating minutes into Aiden probably, and he's eating minutes into. Let's see,
Aiden's getting down into 18, probably 20.
Aiden had 22. LeBaron had 17. Mark Sears had 35 minutes. So you're probably cutting 3 to 4 minutes from 2 to 3 minutes from each of those, and there's your Latrell Wrightsell minutes, and you're looking for 12 more points, 14 more points, and now you're at 102, 101, 100. I don't think that's fair. Yes, he is replacing Latrell shooting, but I think Mason's exactly right. He was always going to come in here and have a massive. I think that Coach Oates was like over the moon to get him as a transfer.
Yeah, I think so. He saw that he knew what he had in him. And we're starting to see it now. It's starting to come to fruition here as we get into the back half of the season. I guess back third of the season now, really.
All right, Mason Woods. We've got about 40 people watching us live. We appreciate everybody watching us on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you're checking us out, you're on the Bama Central YouTube channel or right here on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. You got any other hoops from last night? Anything else stood out? Did I miss anything? What notes did I take? Did I take any other notes?
We talked about Josh Hubbard getting his 28 shots up. Got 38 points on 28 shots. Everybody wanted to talk about Janai Broom's really impressive performance. Did take him 23 shots to only get 26.
How many rebounds did he have? Do you have offensive boards? Because
16. It's offensive 11.
Yeah, we're doing the Angel Reese. That's what it is. We're doing the Angel
Reese of men's basketball.
I'm putting it up. Oh, missed layup, rebound. Missed layup, rebound. Missed layup, rebound, points.
And hey, if it works, it works. Sure. But
how do you feel about Alabama boxing his butt out?
Not great.
Yeah, not great.
Not great. Especially if we continue to see Cliff be just a step behind every defensive possession, basically.
Because I
love Grant, I don't think he has the physicality to do it. He's just a little too frail.
What I see is them actually boxing out Janai Broom, but Chad Baker-Mazara just basically offensive rebound donk.
Could see it. That's going to be I don't even know where you begin to plan for that game if you're Nate Oates. Obviously you have to shut down. Run. Just got to be faster than them. Got to score more points.
Like zero option. Run.
Man, that's going to be a fun game. 2 fun games. 2 stressful games.
Didn't you say those tickets were like stupid expensive already?
I think to get into Coleman, it was over $400, and then for the Auburn one, it was like $600. Let me double check on that.
Mercy. Okay. Yeah. So look, we're moving on. You won the game. You got Georgia coming into town next.
Feisty team.
Yeah, definitely a feisty team. Georgia gives me a lot of. Ole Miss was better than them. Ole Miss is better than Georgia, but Georgia gives me a lot of. They could come in here and Alabama could not take them seriously, and they could snipe you, get you by 1, get you by 2, and really that
throws a big wrench into this whole season.
That would make me utterly sick.
Yeah, that would. Because you're sitting here solo second place in the SEC. The only guy
you're doing fine. You're doing good.
Yeah, only person you have to beat. You got to play twice.
Yeah, you were doing just fine.
So you control your destiny at this point of the season. You lose to Georgia, and all that goes out the window. And it's like, all right, anybody else can jump up here and do what they want. So that would be extremely, extremely disappointing to see them lose that game. I think hopefully Nate Oates is able to convince the team to take it as seriously as they need to. Georgia has. They beat Kentucky, they beat Oklahoma, they let's see. That's really the only 2 wins they have. They beat St. John's early in non-con, but
They're 37 in old Kenny Pomeroy, 15-6, 76 in offense, 18 in defense.
I mean, they went toe-to-toe with Auburn, lost by 2. So this is a tough team. They're not just going to roll over for Alabama. This is not there's not really even any example of a rollover team in the SEC this year that you could throw out there. I guess South Carolina, but even them, they're a little feisty.
What time is that? 3 o'clock? Yeah, 3 o'clock right here in Coleman Coliseum on Saturday. We hope to see you there. We will be there. Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hunter DeCyber successfully drove to Starkville last night and back without getting a speeding ticket. We hope you did not get a speeding ticket in Pickens County, in Reform, over by the Alabama-Mississippi state line. Hope everybody made it back safely last night.
Man, I saw somebody get pulled over on my way into the studio this morning. Felt so bad for him coming down the hill. And I know exactly where he got pulled over. It's a stop. It's a 4-way stop right at the top of the hill.
Roll through the stop sign.
He sits there about 1 day a week at least. And he picked the wrong day to roll through that stop sign. I felt bad for him. That's a tough day.
What is a more annoying ticket? Rolling through a stop sign or a speeding ticket?
I think rolling through a stop sign.
I do too.
1,000%. Because everybody drives their own way, but I'm not going to roll through a stop sign if there's other cars there. The only time I'm rolling through a stop sign is when I know good and well there's zero danger posed to me or anyone else at that intersection. And so, that is so frustrating.
The last time I got a rolling through a stop sign ticket, right by my house, the last stop sign.
That's where I got one. Was pretty close to your house. Actually.
Really?
On Main Avenue. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was coming off right by Riverside Feed and Seed and about to turn onto my road and rolled through that stop sign, and homegirl was parked in the Riverside Feed and Seed. Oh. Bloop, 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 and I was just like, you know where I pulled over? In my driveway. She's like, why'd you pull over here? I said, 'cause I live here.
Oh, pain.
She's like, well, you pulled over in a weird spot. I said, I live right here.
Pain. You didn't stop at that stop sign. Well, I think stop is a relative term here. My car was not proceeding forward any longer. Ridiculous.
If you do have car trouble, and if you do have problems, if you're shopping for a new car and you're thinking about a new car, make sure you call Derek Daniel, because you're going to have to update your insurance. Derek Daniel and his team are upstairs right now, Red Reese and Victoria. They'll be happy to take your phone call, give you a quick auto insurance quote, auto, home, life, renter's insurance, boater's insurance, really everything in the insurance world. Derek Daniel and his team can take care of you. Right here off of McFarland Boulevard. If you want to come check us out in person, we're past the Tiger Rock on the left. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Call Derek and see how much he can save you today. Well, what the heck else is there? What did I take a note on? What is this? I have. Do we care about the one Jalen Milroe superstar throw yesterday at Senior Bowl?
No. I mean, it was a nice throw. Good on you, Jalen. I saw another clip that was equally as bad in the opposite direction as that good throw. You fumbled the snap, you get it back, and then you immediately throw a pick right over the middle of the field. So, I'm good on you for getting a couple highlights yesterday, Jalen, but I've not been overly impressed with you at the Senior Bowl thus far. Not any of the quarterbacks, I should say. I mean, really, they've all been pretty underwhelming.
You got basketball. Baseball announces their fan day. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Hallelujah. That seems like I might be out, Mason.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. It's like that weird part of the week.
I did see Texas, the first college football program to operate at over $300 million budget this season. That's preposterous.
What did you see there? Because you have a huge budget, you have a big revenue. Did you have line items on that list?
No, I don't have that.
Because I want to know recruiting.
That's what I'd love to know as well.
You remember the weekend that they had Arch Manning and whoever else, that they had like 2 or 3 other guys.
Bentleys and Lambos and Ferraris and
I got a
Yeah.
message the other day, Mason. I want to get your thought on this.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the tab I have open. I wanted to go there before we finished. Dummy. Barstool, Bama. At Barstool, Alabama on the Twitter machine. And obviously, it's not an intern. I don't want to say that. They're probably getting paid some sort of way.
Run for an entertainment purpose.
Exactly. Run for entertainment purposes and run by
someone whose
a
job
student,
it is
probably.
to not be super locked into the
probably a student. We're talking about lineups. We're talking about basketball still. And Barstool Bama says, personally, I'm a fan of this lineup. Mark Sears, LeBaron Philon, Mohamed Diabate, Grant Nelson, and Cliff Amore. And like on the surface, it's like, oh, those are my 5 favorite players.
Sure, I like those guys.
Mo D, LeBaron Philon, just gas, baby.
I mean, we just spent 10 minutes talking about how much we love Mo D.
I just
this lineup is allergic to 3-pointers.
Yes. And like it's limited defensively too, I think. Just like Grant, I don't know. I don't love Grant and Cliff I like Cliff and Jaren together.
Yes, I think I don't think Grant and Cliff, they're both lumbering, long, lengthy bigs. Like Cliff is a little bigger, obviously, and he plays that hard 5 position while Grant kind of floats around to the 4 bit. But they're both kind of cut from the same cloth, where they're just really long. They do everything a little slow, and I don't love having them both on the floor at the same time. I think you do need a guy like Jaren, where he has a little bit of that more athleticism, where he can just be a little faster out there and also provide maybe more on the offensive end.
I guess in this scenario, you're bringing Youngblood off the bench, Youngblood and Holloway off the bench as your like spark. I don't hate that, but like you're bringing Youngblood, Holloway, and Jaren off the bench as your spark. What's Jaren really giving you there?
Yeah. This reply to it's a pretty good sum. This is a great lineup if you want a 12-10 halftime score.
Yeah,
that's what it would be. It would be great defense. They'd probably lock everybody up, but you would not get any bit of scoring output from this lineup. Not anything meaningful. You got to get Youngblood in there. You got to get the Holloway. I think one of those two. I think you maybe got to get Jaren in there instead of I don't know. I don't love this. Mo D, I love you, Mo D. You're better off the bench, though.
Yeah, that's exactly like his impact as the 6th man is so much more than what it would be. Like, okay, if he's starting, sure, you probably are having good starts. But what happens when you lull?
You don't have anybody.
I think Youngblood's the type it can be. But Mo is like, I'm going to hold you right here and just wait to throw you in there.
Nate Oates, and then he, unleashes him. And there you go.
Exactly. Everybody's a little bit tired.
They're holding him back.
Let me throw a lightning bolt. Let me throw a lightning bolt into this game here and mix it up and really, So, Barstool Bama, we appreciate you. I just think you might have missed that, but they don't care. They just like the engagement. They got all kinds of engagement off this tweet. They got how much engagement did you get off this tweet? Not as much. 50,000 views. So not as much as I thought. 190 likes. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent. So yeah. I was gonna go there and I was gonna go somewhere else on a football side, wasn't I? Oh yes, that's what the message I got yesterday.
Yes.
Message I got yesterday from a listener, and I appreciate everybody who's messaging us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter at JoeGaither6, wherever you find the show, you can send us a message. This was from 2 days ago. News: veteran attorney Lynn Simon files an amicus brief alleging price fixing in the injunction relief portion. Basically, it's all about the NCAA. And this person was talking to me, is messaging me about, because we've been crying and complaining about tampering and the transfer portal and NIL, and says the problem with college sports is not the transfer portal or NIL. It's the failure to rip the Band-Aid off and admit that these students, while they may be students, are employees of the university. Like, this is exactly right. Yep. Ain't nobody going to tamper with your employee.
Sure.
Your employee gets a contract. Your employee gets hey, we're hiring you for 8 months. August to May. Is that 8 months? 9 months. You don't get tampered with. You have outs. You have definite. You have parameters.
Yeah.
To play in. This person continues. Until that happens, a new satellite entity is created that allows for profit sports under the umbrella of the university. College sports is going to die at the hands of one lawsuit after another over the next 5 to 10 years. Because that would be the easiest solution. They just don't want to do it because they know it's going to cost them money. But you're already invested with this recent ruling of, you got a revenue share with these athletes. Take it.
Take it. Then just take it all the way there.
Yes.
Don't do it halfway. Yeah. Make them, they are employees. Just make it official, because that would solve a lot of issues here.
And then you don't have what about the backup left tackle who hasn't played? Should he be paid as much as the starting quarter? And it's like, well, buddy, all of our football players get paid this. All the quarterbacks get paid that. If you start, you get paid that. Like, you can define it so much more. And then, if I start, I can get X. And this person's exactly right. But they don't want to do it because
it takes too much work, costs too much money.
Yeah, and in college athletics, and really just higher level education is all about robbing Peter to pay Paul. You were talking about, that's what triggered me. The Texas revenue, like that 300 million. You said they operated on what? 300 something million. They brought in 300 something million.
They spent $325 million. Brought in 331. So 332.
So you plus
so
$6 million.
$7 million profit.
And you know what they did with that plus $7 million? They spent it. They spent it on other sports. They spent it on women's diving, on men's golf, on it's all rob Peter, pay Paul.
I mean, Ohio State lost almost $40 million. They operated at a massive deficit. That's I get you won your title, but that's not sustainable. You're going to do that for 2-3 years in a row? I mean, what are we doing here?
And so everybody, like, you heard Coach Saban, well, what's going to end up happening is sports are going to be cut. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, but that's like, what happens, Mason, when I hate it, but what happens when you're doing your budget? You and Miss Melissa are doing your budget, and you said, we brought in $100 and our bills are $130. And you're like, oh, crap, what are we going to do? Well, I'm cutting the Netflix. Well, no steaks this week. Well, gotta, maybe cut the heat down just a little bit. Like, you have to make cuts. You cannot continue to operate this way. Mason and Melissa, they can't just say, we love Netflix. It's so much fun. It makes us happy. Everybody, it's great. That's not reality.
No, you cannot just continue to spend more and more and more and more money. It's going to dry up.
It sucks. Look, it sucks to live without the Netflix. Yeah, it's going to stink to not have, women's and men's diving, whatever the case may be. These sports are going to go away because for my entire lifetime and before my lifetime, these jokers just, we can raise this money and spend it over here. We can raise this money and spend it over here. And all this while using the labor of the athletes. And okay, yeah, you got a free English class and free algebra too. And okay, you got to stay in the dorms for free. And sure, those are great deals. But it's just like they've created this situation over
decades.
Yes. So yeah, you do have to make to my friend who sent me this message. You do need to make these guys some employees for sure, but they won't do it. They won't do it until they're forced, and they won't do it. They're gonna under the guise of we're trying to save X sport and Y sport and women's. I wonder how expensive the rowing is for the University of Alabama, the rowing team. because those boats can't be cheap. The travel can't be cheap. I'm sure it's not a huge team, obviously, but there's just you're spending all over the place.
Frivolously too. It's not like it'd be one thing if Texas was spending this $325 million and they had gotten a brand new stadium last year, a new facility. But no, like Sark rented a dozen Lamborghinis to show off to a bunch of high schoolers. They brought in all these lavish things. It's just like ridiculous. It's so dumb.
I don't have as much of an issue with the football team using the money that they raised. The issue that I have is the football team funding all the other 19 sports on campus. Not that they should get all the money, the football team at the University of Alabama, but it's just a bad business model to me.
Yeah,
and you take it out on the fans by saying, "I'll pay more, more money, more NIL, more this."
Yeah,
it's just a bad business model, and I think it turns away people like my father, people who are hardworking. I think it's going down a dangerous path, just as a sports entity.
Yeah, it's disheartening to see just more and more things come out that seem to be bad for the long-term health of the sport. We'll see what happens.
What you doing this weekend, Mason, with Junior Day? Isn't there a bit? We don't need to get into it like right now, but isn't there a big Junior Day that we can talk about tomorrow?
Yeah. There'll be a handful of.
I saw
a pretty good bit of recruits in town to be here for. To be honest, I don't really know what exactly gets done on Junior Days. I think, as far as I understand, it's kind of just like a little mini combine type deal.
Yeah, I think it's like a little mini combine, and I think it's also
here's
a
the
campus tour.
Look at everything. Yeah,
right.
Here's why you should come here.
Yeah. I saw. I don't know who I saw this from, and we will dive into it tomorrow because you will be prepared for it tomorrow. You weren't prepared today, and that's okay. I saw a tweet that said 5 to 10 5-stars on campus.
That sounds close to right.
Ooh, Kalen DeBoer. Okay.
Yeah, I believe I'm pretty sure one of them, Jared Curtis, I think is the top-rated quarterback in next year's class, maybe number 2. I think he's expected to be in town.
That's that really tall joker from Georgia or Tennessee, right? Yeah. And that everybody has given us an offer to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's been visited in just the last 2 weeks by just about every Power 5 coach that, great at-home visit with enter whatever coach it is. Kirby Smart, whoever. Mario Cristobal, Mike Norvell, Lane Kiffin, anybody.
So we'll get into that tomorrow. We will talk about Junior Day. We'll talk about Alabama and Georgia. What else do you think we might need to get into? Were there any former Alabama players that got named to the Pro Bowl in this weekend, Pro Bowl weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Who gives a rip?
Yeah.
Will you watch the Pro Bowl on Sunday?
I will not. No.
No.
I won't.
I'm going to be hungover from the Royal Rumble on Saturday night.
Jerry Jeudy, looks like.
Jerry Jeudy?
There we go.
We're going to go from, that's going to be perfect. We're going to go from Alabama hoops at 3 o'clock right into Royal Rumble on Saturday. Do we just need to spend all day? Like, do we need to really throw our listeners for a loop? No, but the people who are listening now, they'll know. But we won't. Our show tomorrow would just be Royal Rumble preview. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble? That's okay. Obviously, it's scripted, so like you kind of can, if you're following a story, guess. But right now, pull up some odds because you'll be surprised. I can't guess. I watch this bleep all the time. And I cannot make it. I have a guess based on Monday Night Raw, but it could go any minute. It could be John Cena coming back for Royal Rumble. CM Punk. That's my guess.
Looks like John Cena is the betting favorite.
He is, yeah, and that makes perfect sense. I have seen
Seth Rollins. I'm seeing
Seth's not going to win. I'll tell you that.
Randy Orton.
Watch out! If Randy Orton wins,
that would be electric.
I will lose my mind. He's been off TV since November, maybe. Maybe it was part of a storyline and somebody hurt him just to give him a little vacation, Christmas vacation. So, and he is expected to return. And anybody who knows me, that's my number one. I love him so much. He is, yeah. That's my number one. So if he wins, I will lose my mind. And,
Plus
and
2,800, the odds on him.
I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to do some cool stuff and have some cool spots. Roman Reigns, big one. Like, you've got about 9 guys that I think, if The Rock surprise enters, which is very big possibility.
Yeah,
I
got
think
The Rock on this list.
Yes.
Plus 700.
Is Brock Lesnar on there?
No. So we've got John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, The Rock, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton.
What's CM Punk's odds?
Plus 150.
What's Roman Reigns' odds?
Plus 1,200.
Yeah, I think it's CM Punk because so he's the last. He
needs this money to spend all that on the sneaker shopping episode.
He's one of the last 2 last year and gets thrown out, and he's injured and he misses WrestleMania. All right, so fast forward to Monday night. He and Cody Rhodes are in the ring. They were the last 2 last year. And Cody Rhodes is the champ now, and CM Punk is, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge you at WrestleMania. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's what's going to end up happening. But I think it's going to be super dramatic. You know what I think it is? The reason why I said Brock Lesnar? I think Brock Lesnar comes out, surprises, and wrecks shop, helping CM Punk win the Royal. So if you have Peacock, after Alabama basketball, flip it on over. Crimson Tide beats Georgia. And just put on some mindless fun on Peacock because you're going to have allegedly a 40-woman Royal Rumble this year instead of 30. And then you'll have the men's Royal Rumble to close it out. Little Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes ladder match also. Little 2 out of 3 falls for tag team champion. It's going to be – Pat McAfee's going to be going crazy because it's in Indianapolis. I know a lot of people don't. Do you like Pat? Some people are mixed on him.
I like him in small doses.
Yeah, I do too.
That's about the best I can say. I mean, I like the clips that I see. I don't.
Yeah, but I'm not watching the show.
Yeah, I can't sit there and watch 4 hours of the Pat McAfee show or however long.
No.
Watch even College Game Day. I have a hard time sitting there and watching the full broadcast. But I do enjoy the clips. They're fun. So in minute, 30-second, minute and a half clips.
My wild take for the Royal Rumble is that someone from the Pat McAfee show. Probably not Pat since he's done it a couple times, but someone from Pat's show,
Chuck Pagano,
AJ Hawk, Chuck Pagano, Boston Connor, somebody's gonna be in the Royal Rumble, and they're gonna run down, and everybody's like, oh, it's AJ Hawk, it's Boston Connor, whatever, and Pat McAfee's gonna have his all freak out, and the guy's gonna run in the ring and get thrown right out, and that'll be his spot, and it'll be like, oh, Billy lasted 2 seconds in the Royal Rumble, roar! It's gonna be great. We got to finish, Mason. We're right at the hour. We will talk about those things tomorrow deeper. Probably more Junior Day and Alabama, Georgia than anything else. You know that. We'll finish with a little Royal Rumble and find other topics to get into. You can follow the show on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter at Joe Gaither6, on the Bama Central YouTube channel. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform, The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, Amazon, Spotify, Apple. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_. Follow me at Joe Gaither6. And call Derek Daniel for all your insurance needs at 205-758-3391.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.